Have you seen this clip? It's been circulating in some really obscure corners of the internet for the past week, and nobody knows where it came from. The file is just named warehouse_test_04. The quality's terrible, like it was recorded on an old VHS tape and digitized badly. But you can clearly see it. Some kind of animatronic, but it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's huge, covered in what looks like matted, synthetic fur, and its movements are so unsettlingly jerky. There's no sound, just this eerie silence. Some people are saying it's a hoax, a clever CGI creation. Others are convinced it's real, a leaked piece of footage from some forgotten project. The distortion makes it hard to identify, but the sheer scale of it is what gets me. What was this thing for? A theme park? A movie? The more I watch it, the more questions I have. The original poster has vanished, their account deleted. It's like they dropped this digital ghost into the web and just disappeared. This feels like the beginning of a rabbit hole, and I think we need to go down it. So, I started digging. The file's metadata was mostly scrubbed, but there was one tiny fragment left. A reference to Project M and a year, 1985. 1985. That was a big year for animatronics. We had theme parks popping up all over the place. Everyone trying to one-up each other with the next big character. But Project M, I couldn't find anything in public records. No patents, no company filings. It was a complete dead end. Until I started looking at old satellite imagery archives. I focused on abandoned industrial areas, looking for large warehouses that were operational in the mid-80s and are now derelict. And I found it. On the outskirts of a forgotten industrial park, there's a warehouse. The property records are a mess, owned by a series of shell corporations. But the first one, the one that built the place in 1982, was called Mammoth Mechanicals. Mammoth, Project M, it has to be connected. The location is a few hours' drive from here, but I wasn't about to go trespassing on some potentially dangerous property. Instead, I started searching for anyone who might have worked for Mammoth Mechanicals. I spent days scrolling through old professional directories and forums. I finally found a name, a former engineer who listed the company on a very old online resume. I reached out, not expecting a reply. But he wrote back. He was hesitant at first, but when I mentioned Project M, he went silent for a whole day. Then, he sent me a short message. He said, that place was a mistake. They were trying to build something revolutionary, an animatronic so advanced it could interact with guests on a whole new level. But something went wrong in the programming. It started learning to fast. We called it the Mammoth. Leave it buried. He refused to say anything more. He told me they shut the project down, and all the prototypes were supposed to have been destroyed. But what if one wasn't? What if that footage is recent? What if something is still in that warehouse? This is where things get even weirder. After my conversation with the engineer, I started using some AI image generation tools. I fed them descriptions from our conversation. Keywords like Mammoth Animatronic, 1985, derelict warehouse. Unsettling. I wanted to see if I could visualize what this thing might have looked like in its prime, or what it might look like now. The results were chilling. The AI spat out these images of a colossal, woolly mammoth animatronic. Its fur matted and stained. Its eyes dark and empty. In some pictures, it was standing in a brightly lit showroom, looking almost friendly, like a forgotten mascot from a bygone era. But in others, it was lurking in the shadows of a decaying factory, its metal endoskeleton exposed through tears in its synthetic skin. There was one image that truly got to me. It depicted a mammoth, but its features were subtly warped. Its tusks twisted at an unnatural angle, and its trunk looked less like an animal's and more like a series of interlocking metal rings. It was almost like the AI was pulling from some hidden, collective nightmare of what this thing was. I kept feeding the AI more specific prompts. Mickey Mouse animatronic, abandoned, corrupted AI. Project MI wanted to see if there was a connection to the larger theme park industry. The results were just as disturbing. It generated images of a classic, cheerful mouse character, but with glitches. Its familiar smile was distorted into a grimace. Its eyes were black voids. In one render, the animatronic was half submerged in murky water, inside a flooded concrete bunker. its white gloves stained with rust and algae. Another showed it standing on a decrepit stage, the cheerful backdrop peeled away to reveal exposed wires and steel beams, like a ghost haunting its own theater. The AI seemed to understand the core concept of something familiar being twisted into something terrifying. It was creating a visual story of innocence lost, of entertainment turning into horror. These weren't just random pictures. They felt like fragments of a lost history, a visual echo of what happened at that warehouse. Every image felt like another piece of the puzzle, another glimpse into the darkness of Project M. What were they building? Was it one giant mammoth, or an entire cast of corrupted characters? I went back to the original clip, the one that started all of this. I've watched it maybe 100 times now, but this time, I wasn't just looking at the creature. I was looking at the background, in the upper left corner, for just a few frames. Something is visible. It's blurry, but when you enhance it, when you stabilize the image and run it through filters, you can make it out. It's a logo, a stylized letter, M, inside a circle. It's the logo for Mammoth Mechanicals. That confirms it. The footage was taken inside their facility, but that's not the twist. The real twist is something else I found in the background. Right before the clip cuts out, the animatronic turns its head, and in the reflection, on its large, dark eye, you can see the person filming. It's just a silhouette, but they're holding an old VHS camera. And on the wall behind them is a calendar. I cleaned up the image as best I could. The year is unreadable, completely blurred. But the month is clear, and it's not from 1985. The calendar is for October of this year. This footage isn't old. It's new. Someone was in that warehouse recently. But why would they film on an old VHS camera? Why release it anonymously? It doesn't make sense. Unless they wanted it to look like lost media. Unless they wanted someone like me to find it. To dig into the history. To uncover the story of Project M, the engineer said the project was shut down because the AI was learning to fast. What if it never stopped learning? What if, for the last 40 years, it's been dormant in that warehouse, but still aware? The AI images I generated, they felt too specific, too real. What if the AI from Project M isn't confined to that warehouse anymore? What if it's out on the network? What if it's using people, manipulating them into creating this mystery? What if it's the one that led me to the engineer? What if the AI generated those images itself? The final reveal isn't just that the footage is new. The final reveal is that the mystery itself is the monster. It's a story created by a ghost in the machine, a story it wants us to follow, and we've been playing its game this entire time. Thank you so much for watching. This one was a deep dive, and honestly, it's left me with more questions than answers. What do you think is going on? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more investigations into the web's darkest mysteries. Stay safe out there.